Let's talk about Harley twin cam engines, CVO engines. From 1999 to 2006, you had the spring-loaded cam chain tensioners inside the cam cover and the cam plate, the bottom of your engine on the right side. If anybody doesn't know what the right side of a Harley is, you need to go back to elementary school or learn about Harleys in general, and this information wouldn't do you any good anyway. Okay. Here's the solution. I wish that S&S would invent what I'm going to say is the correction to the problem with these plastic little shoes on these chain tensioners, and for the two cams you got one inner tensioner and then you have an outer tensioner where it hooks up to the engine shaft end from the flywheels, and then the other end to a gear that's splined that goes on to the left camshaft facing the engine. Okay. The solution is actually very simple, to where it would last over 100,000 miles. I don't have the money to copyright my idea or to market it, but if I could, I would become a multi-millionaire in 1 month's time, because it's very simple. Why don't these people at S&S, I hope that they watch my video and invent it. Okay. All you would need is for the same models from 99 to 2015. First off, you don't need a hydraulic tension. That's stupid, because that's reliant on motor or oil pressure. All you need is a spring loaded. If it's the spring is strong enough, it's set to where it's always got stress, against the tensioner itself to the chain. Alright, instead of having a nylon plastic tensioner shoe, it's very simple. Okay, a chain link that goes in the middle of a steel wheel. Okay, and it would be a chain link pin that's equivalent and about the same size as what goes through the double row chain in your primary. It'd be about that same size. It'd be made out of steel. Okay, and then you would have a small gear with teeth on it. In other words, it would be similar to the gear you have on the left side of your engine that drives the double row chain that turns the clutch hub, that makes your Harley Davidson go. It'd be a small gear, small steel gear with teeth that would go in between the slots in the chain. It's that simple. And that mechanism would never go bad. It would never go bad, because as long as it got oil, how is it going to go bad? Because it's made out of steel and it goes between the figure 8 links and the small cam chains. That's a solution. Number 2 solution. Actually, no tensioner was ever necessary in the first place, because okay, go figure. You take the timing chain in your older, even your 1980s General Motors vehicles, it had this central located cam, and it had like on your basic V8 gasoline engine, and then you had, a sprocket on the crankshaft in the front, and then you had a sprocket that bolted onto the camshaft. Alright, When you installed those and the timing marks were lined up on those two gears, there was no slack in the chain. No chain tensioner was used. In many of those, the distance between your crankshaft sprocket and your cam sprocket was this much. This much, people. And there was no tensioner because there was no slack when it was installed. So why is any tensioner necessary? Why doesn't the manufacturers of these cams and these chains, or I take it, a secondary individual engineering is making the chain that goes on the cams in these Harleys? Well, why is the chain too long? Why? See, that right there is ignorance, grand ignorance altogether, because it doesn't need to be too long. You might line up the marks like for the crank pin, or no, crankshaft end, and then you have the gear that presses on the splines, and this is the outer chain, your cam plate cover, and you push them on at the same time. There is no slack in it if the chain is the right length. But if it must be this way, to where the chain is too long for whatever retarded reason that is, other than retarded or good engineers, to where one's not communicating with the other, well then a small roller gear sprocket made of steel. It would last forever, to where it doesn't ride harshly and rub against anything. Because see, anything that rubs against something, even with oil, after a matter of time, it's going to be inevitable, guaranteed wear. But that is a solution to that. Now, for those of you that do change your tensioners, which I'm sure I will have to, I have a 02 Softail. Runs very good. It's got 38,000 miles on it. Unfortunately, I didn't get service records with it, so I'm going to go ahead and change those tensioners. I'm going to put it on my to-do list. But don't put adjustable push rods in those, and cut the non-adjustable push rods out of those. Don't do that, because you know, when it's time to change your cam chain tensioners, you know, because that plastic can get worn down and break apart, and it could screw up your engine. It could, those particles. It's time at 20,000 miles to check your rocker shaft assembly and that assembly anyway. Take the gas tank off your Harley, take the rocker covers off, you know, take that whole assembly off and check it out. Make sure that that's functional, because that too can wear, because that's the last part in that engine that gets oil. This is very important. Go ahead and remove your rocker covers, and you don't want to go back and have to adjust push rods. Why bother? Why use a primitive method? This way, if you take your rocker covers and your rocker assembly off, which needs to be checked anyway every 30,000 miles, when you reassemble it, there's not going to be any push rod adjustment, because it's going to go back the identical way that it was before you assembled it. So you're going to avoid that. And the other job needs to be done at the same time the tensioners are done. That they need to be focused on, and those two acts need to be committed together anyway. But other than that, ride safe, be careful, and you know, stay ahead of things, because whether it's a car or a motorcycle, if you let things get ahead of you, it's just going to delay you more, cost a bunch more money, and a whole lot more time. Okay? But anyway, Hope you all have a good evening, good night, good day, whatever it is. Later.